There are now 30,000 XRP holders that are joining John Deaton in the fight against the SEC. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what you can actually do to join that cause, as the news came out just the other day, and I covered in my previous video, that John Deaton will now be presenting information to the judge directly. It's very big for the Ripple case, and I'm going to tell you more about it in this video. And in case you were under a rock yesterday and didn't pay any attention to the crypto market, Bitcoin pretty much exploded, and there were some really interesting things because I saw several videos talking about what caused it. And of course, I had my own thoughts on it. So I'm going to talk about 3 or 4 different things that had an impact on the price of Bitcoin and why it was moving so much. I'm also going to talk about some altcoins and specifically XRP. And speaking of XRP, Ripple just came out with yet another use case for the XRP ledger. I'm going to tell you what they just did that could be a total game changer, and I know I've been saying that word a lot, but this one really is, to make payments from one online communication tool to an offline communication tool. That's right, paying for things even when something is not online. Hey everyone, my name is Randy and welcome back to the Late Night Grind. And right now on this channel, we are covering the Ripple versus SEC case, as well as other cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any of those topics interest you and you want to follow along, all you got to do is click the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon. That way YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video. Also, I believe people in the crypto space are the most generous people on the planet. So if you're feeling generous today, I'd really appreciate if you do 2 things. Number 1, smash the thumbs up button. And number 2, watch this video all the way to the end. Those are really the 2 best things that you can do to support a YouTube channel. So if you do that, I greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So let's talk right now specifically about the Bitcoin price move. It really exploded yesterday when it climbed from just over $50,000 to just over $55,000 throughout the course of the morning. Now, there's a couple of things that triggered this. Number 1, there was some news about jobs report in the United States. Number 2, there was news from confirming that George Soros, billionaire George Soros, does in fact hold cryptocurrency. And of course, every time you have a major price movement, parabolic when it moves $1, $2, even $3,000 in a couple of minutes, it's usually because there are also shorts getting liquidated on the way up. During some of those parabolic runs, there was actually, according to Bybit.com, $168 million worth of crypto that was liquidated during that morning session. Once again, I just don't know why so many people are basically gambling and using margin trading when they know they're going to get liquidated. It happens every time. This happens almost more than once a week now. I don't know who would be shorting Bitcoin at this point other than maybe Peter Schiff. And by the way, if you follow Peter on Twitter, somebody asked if Peter was around this morning because, of course, he thinks Bitcoin's going to zero. And his son chimed in and said, well, he's not in a good mood this morning. I can't figure out why. So like I said, as Bitcoin was moving up, you have the shorts being liquidated and then the jobs news of 586,000 jobs being added in the United States. And so all of that news was kind of coming out all at once, helping to push the price of Bitcoin. There was probably a little bit of FOMO in there as well, even higher. Because the interesting part was, as Bitcoin was climbing so parabolically, a lot of the altcoin market, or at least some of the altcoin market, was actually red. And that indicates that some people were actually pulling out of their altcoin positions and putting it into Bitcoin when they were starting to see this parabolic run. Now, that's happened before, and it's probably going to happen again, because the interesting thing was once Bitcoin kind of settled in at right around 55, 54,000 the rest of the day, that's when altcoins started to go back into the green. Now, this is what I want to talk about XRP, because the last time that Bitcoin was at 53,000, right before the drop last month, XRP was at about $1.40. Well, guess what? Bitcoin is now up above 52,000, 53,000. It's at 55,000, and XRP is struggling to get above $1.08. So there is some major price suppression going on with XRP. My feeling is it has a lot to do with this SEC case because it's getting a lot more it's getting a lot more airtime now on mainstream networks, on different blog posts, and on different crypto sites and YouTube, that a lot of people are just paying more attention to it, and they're just not 100% sure about putting money into something like that, or even holding their position when there's still a case up in the air. If you watch my channel, of course, it looks like Ripple definitely has a big upper hand, but a lot of people don't always see that. And then you have Cardano and Solana, who, while Bitcoin was making its 7 to 8% push throughout the day, they barely moved as well, only struggling to make 1 to 1.5% gains. And as I covered Solana in the past before, Solana seems to make its bigger runs when Bitcoin is just kind of holding steady, and when Bitcoin actually drops, Solana just kind of holds steady. Cardano's been doing something similar. Now, those two were the ones that made the big runs earlier last month when they were hitting new all-time highs, when Bitcoin wasn't doing a whole lot of price movements. But it's interesting to see right now that even on a day where Bitcoin went parabolic, they hardly did anything. And of course, if you look at Shiba Inu, and that was going up 12% plus, you can see why people were getting frustrated. And Cathie Wood, who owns ARK investment company, just announced that they're going to be moving their offices from New York City to Florida. And I saw on John Deaton's Twitter feed, he basically laid it out and said, would the last investment firm to leave New York City please turn the lights out? ARK Invest is not the only one to leave New York City, and there's probably going to be more to follow. And also when you have the Restaurant Owners Association of New York City reporting that revenues are down 50 to 60%, since the passport mandates have gone into effect. Rest in peace, New York City. Okay, now I'm going to get back to Ripple, because what they just showed at their latest developer conference could be a major game changer. Here is what they are now using the XRP ledger for that probably most people didn't think would be a possibility. They actually demonstrated how they can actually pay for something, in this case a vending machine, that is not connected to the internet, that is not online, using the XRP ledger and some new technologies that could be implemented into devices like this. So I'm going to link in the description below a video. It's about a 15-minute video where they do the full demonstration. Basically what they do is the vending machine essentially would have a screen that would show a QR code of what you wanted to purchase. You would then scan that with your phone. It would pop up the transaction, which would allow you to pay for it with XRP or several other things, I'm assuming, if it's through the XRP ledger. You would then pay for it using your cryptocurrency, and it would present back with another animated QR code. You would then present that animated QR code to a camera on the vending machine. And as soon as that information is transferred to the vending machine as a successful transaction, the vend would happen. And like I said, that vending machine had no connection to the internet, completely offline. But using the XRP ledger and, of course, some new technologies, cameras, they are now able to do offline transactions using the XRP ledger. That is very bullish news, very, very creative development by the Ripple Labs team. Just another great development for the crypto space in general. Whether or not XRP will only specifically be used for something like that, when you look at what's moving forward with technologies and being able to use your phone for payments, even on devices that are not connected to the internet, that's really cool stuff. And finally, to the case of Ripple versus the SEC, I wanted to give a little bit of an update because in my previous video, like I mentioned, John Deaton, who is now representing 30,000 XRP holders, who's seeking to intervene in the case and take it to the SEC. Well, the judge says, no, they can't take it to the SEC, but we're going to allow John to have specific representation, essentially representing the XRP holders, and be essentially a friend of the court, meaning he was granted status that he can now give information, insights, and expertise to Judge Netburn when she goes to make a decision. So XRP holders now have an actual voice in this case. And you know this is big because it's really being picked up by mainstream media. So I've seen articles all over the place now, not just YouTube or the usual crypto spaces, but I've seen articles written about John Deaton's new status and the representation that XRP holders are going to get in the case. So I've actually seen write-ups from Reuters, the AP, Forbes, Finance Feeds, USA Today, Law 360, and of course, thanks to Charles Gasparino, Fox Business. So this case is starting to get even more coverage, which I think is a good thing, because I think Ripple's going to win this case, and when they do, those mainstream sources that are covering it will have even more eyeballs on XRP. Meanwhile, the digital asset investor who is on YouTube and Twitter, and I'll link his Twitter account in the description below, he continues to put this case together essentially for Ripple, showing how there was a major conflict of interest with the last SEC regime and what they did by giving Ethereum a free pass. He put together a video of Joe Lubin, who is of Ethereum, essentially giving the old wink that, you know, we got some approvals before we did our token sale. And he mentioned this on several different videos. He put that video together and he's pushing it towards a ton of members that are in Congress that are on Twitter. So if you want to help get some eyeballs on that from people actually in Congress, go to that tweet and retweet it, like it, comment on it. that would be helpful. And if you want to know how you can actually join John Deaton and the rest of those 30,000 XRP holders and having your voice heard, you can actually sign up to be represented essentially by John in this case. I'll put the link in the description below. And of course, he mentions all of your contact information will remain private, and you can actually opt out of that at any time. So if you want to follow along with that topic, along with other cryptocurrency topics, make sure you're subscribed to the Late Night Grind. And to all the viewers, thanks again so much for giving this video a big thumbs up and watching all the way to the end. And if you're seeing 2 videos right here, it means that YouTube thinks that you will like one of these 2 videos because they're right down your alley. So go ahead and check out one of those videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, I'll see you on the next video.